Hello, welcome to the latest video from Last Bell Boxing. This video is regarding Trevor Bryan versus Daniel Dubois, WBA heavyweight title fight. Not officially been announced yet, but worst kept secret in boxing by all accounts. So I'll try and act like I'm excited about this fight, Andy, for the viewers, but I'm really not, to be honest with you, fella. Struggle to get excited when you look through both resumes. You know, especially Trevor Bryan. His standout fight is Stavern, for crying out loud. And he's jumped in with people like BJ Flores, who obviously Tony Bellew took care of in about a round or so. But I'm going to try my best. So, Daniel Dubois, 17 KOs, 17 wins, 16 KOs, obviously. Bryan stands at 6'4", Dubois 6'5", so similar sizes. But you look at Daniel Dubois, the jury's still out for me on him. You know, you look through his resume and it's the likes of Nathan Gorman and Richard Lawton and a very old Kevin Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, I think Joe Joyce left a lot of questions since coming back. He's fought a couple of nobodies, for being brutally honest, in Dinner and Cusimano. Just rolls off the tongue. We've heard a lot of him. So he's going into this fight, really. We still don't know what he's got. He's obviously got the legend of a trainer, so, you know, obviously the game plan will be there, it goes without saying. But, yeah, underwhelmed, if I'm honest. Does it put Daniel Dubois in any better position in the heavyweight landscape? Probably not. So, I'll obviously watch it, but if that's where the WBA are in terms of rankings, answers on a postcard. So I'll pass it on to you, Andy.
I'm not sure where Daniel Dubois sits currently in rankings for the governing bodies. I'm like you, mate. I won't be. Where's this taking place? Is it likely to be America? I'm guessing.
Well, no, they're saying it's more likely to be the UK. So that would suggest that Bryan's getting a lot of money, I'd suggest.
Right. Okay. I think Daniel Dubois got to get a bit of a stroke here, isn't it? I mean, a couple of fights ago, Joe Joyce showed Daniel Dubois to still be quite naive as a professional fighter.
And remember, Andy, not many fancied Joyce going into that fight.
No, I didn't. I'll be honest, mate. I didn't. I thought Dubois' youth and power was going to take control. But Joyce showed his quality in there and pretty much won the fight with a jab. Daniel's moved on to a better trainer now, in my opinion, and I think he's going to learn a lot. It's going to take a bit of time, but I think he's going to learn a lot, and you'll see a different fighter. Trevor Bryan's got no real right to be world champion. You know, he beats a Bermain Stavern. It takes him 11 rounds to stop him. This is a Bermain Stavern that 2 fights before got knocked out in a round by Wilder.
Yeah.
And then a couple of fights, a fight after that got knocked out in 6 rounds by Joe Joyce. So, if anyone's got the right to this fight, it's Joe Joyce.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting because for me, we talk about Eddie Hearn having his favourites. I would suggest that, you know, that really did upset the apple cart for Frank Warren when Joyce beat Dubois. And you could argue Dubois still getting the bigger push out of the two.
Oh, he's definitely getting a world title shot, mate. Of course he's getting a bigger push. That, you know, Joe Joyce is sat there, number 1 in the WBO rankings, twiddling his thumbs because nobody wants to fight him. You know, he's the who wants him fighter of the heavyweight division, Joe Joyce. No one wants to risk their position in the top 10 of any ranking body to go in against Joe Joyce. I mean, Anthony Joshua was teasing people saying he was going to get in with him. That was never going to happen. No. Unless he took one too many shots in the Usyk fight first time round and he wasn't thinking straight. I don't know anybody. I've not heard of anybody in commentary, any pundits, ex-boxers that think he could have beat Joyce.
AJ was never going to give up that opportunity to fight for all them belts to get it back in his next fight. It's too risky, isn't it? Like I said, so Joyce knocked him out. Where's that? It's all gone.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, exactly.
Nonsense.
And it's a long way back from that position as well. But back to the topic in hand. Trevor Bryan's not really showed me a lot.
No.
I think Daniel Dubois wins the fight convincingly. He probably stops him, in fact. Even though I've just said he's still quite a naive fighter. What's been good for Daniel Dubois is the time he's been able to take with McGuigan. So he's spent a lot of time in the gym, in sparring, and he's not had to do it under the lights in any real tough fight yet. This is a step up. Is Trevor Bryan better than Joe Joyce? No. So like I said at the very start, I think this is a bit of a stroke. I think Daniel Dubois almost being under the world title here. And I don't want to put fighters down because, like I say, I think he could end up being a really good fighter. He's still a very young man.
Yeah.
He could end up being a very, very good heavyweight. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Shane McGuigan said that himself. He's come out and said he needs a lot of work. We need to work on a lot of things. He needs to put him in practice in fights. The problem is he wins this title and he's in a position then where he's got to be fighting top heavyweights on a regular basis. He's gone past the point of fighting nobodies. He's got to put that belt then on the line against, and he'll be targeted. People think I've got a good chance of winning the world title here. It's going to put him up in the rankings. He'll be higher up in the WBA rankings, probably number 2 or number 3, maybe.
Other fighters will just look at what he's looked at. He's looked at all the belts and gone, right, where's his soft, or Frank Warren has, where's his soft touch where we can pick a belt up? Let's go WBA.
Yeah.
So then your Martin Bicolas of this world, your Michael Hunters of this world, they're going to be doing all the same.
Tony Yoka. Ergovic.
I'm not saying they aren't quality fighters because you know what I think about, especially Bicola. I really rate Bicola.
They're all going to be targeting Dubois after this because just having that belt, winning that belt, puts you in a high ranking in that governing body.
Well, it's not just that, is it? Rank him. If you got Tyson Fury stood there, you've got Usyk stood there, / AJ, or you've got Dubois. There's only one person you're going to target, isn't there, before you jump in with them lot?
Well, if you're a fighter that's highly ranked in one of the other governing bodies and you want a good spot in the WBA, this is the route to go.
Yeah.
And I think that's what will end up happening. He'll end up being in a position where he's going to be fighting fighters that he probably didn't want to fight yet in his career. He's had that one loss against Joyce. He ain't going to want another loss because it's going to put him back down again, and he's going to have to rebuild. I don't think he loses this fight, mate. I think he wins it convincingly. But like I say, he's then got a big target on his back. That's one thing. It's okay. It's okay getting these fighters these level fights. I mean, and it's a bit of a master stroking away from Warren to getting this world title fight. But what they've maybe not thought about is, okay, so I win the world title, then what?
Yep.
Then I'm in a position where I've got a big target on my back, and everybody's going to be aiming for me because they know it's going to give them a higher ranking. Even if some people don't regard the regular belt as an official belt, which I think is crap. It's a belt. It's a world title belt. Whether you like the fact that that's what the WBA do or not, it is what they do. So that's just fact. You just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it is a recognised world title. But what fighters will be looking at is, if I beat Daniel Dubois for this title, it puts me in a very good position in the rankings for a shot at 3 belts.
Especially if you're a Philip Ergovich or some of that ilk, where you're just not getting the push or the exposure, force your way into a mandatory position. I wouldn't want Dubois jumping in with the likes of Ergovich or Bicola.
I mean, Bicoli's an animal, mate. I mean, that fight he's got coming up with Yoka is going to tell a lot about the heavyweight division, in my opinion, because they're both very, very good fighters and quite well matched, that fight. I'm more interested in that fight than I am in this fight, if I'm honest.
I'll be honest with you, going off the piece for a minute, I think Bicola's going to walk straight through Tony Yoka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Yoka's a very skilled fighter. You know, you don't do what he did in the Olympics if you haven't got skill. He's a very good fighter, mate.
I just think Bicola's going to be absolutely relentless.
Yeah, yeah. And whether Yoka's able to keep him off is another matter.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke to his coach. Billy's told us how good he thinks he is. You know, he's stopped short of giving us official stories from training sessions and from sparring with other fighters, but the word is out there, isn't it, that every top heavyweight absolute nightmares in sparring.
Yeah. So prediction time then, Andy.
I think Dubois stops him, mate. I think Dubois stops him mid to late rounds. I'm going to go round 7.
I think he'll be round 6. I think he's going to absolutely. He'll have a look at him for a couple of rounds and absolutely break him up. Yeah. It's tailor made for Dubois, Bryan is. You know, so yeah, interesting. So that's the end of the Bryan Dubois video. Like, comment, subscribe below. Tell us we're talking rubbish if you think we're talking rubbish. Don't bother with Twitter. Put your comments below. We go live every Thursday, 7 p.m. Prime opportunity for you to come on and tell us face to face that we're talking rubbish, which would be quite unique, wouldn't it, Andy? Obviously, the channel's flying at the minute. This channel is here for you as boxing fans to come and voice your opinion. So please take advantage of it. See you on the next video.
Cheers, mate.